welcome to the Kingdome, where tonight Mike Shanahan and the Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos battle hometown kid Jon Kitna and the Seattle Seahawks.
Kitna to throw, going to the back of the end zone, touchdown, Seattle!
If I'm ever blessed enough to go to a Pro Bowl or a Super Bowl, they'll be right there too, because I want them to enjoy this right along with me. I didn't make this journey by myself.
The journey is just beginning for hometown hero Jon Kitna and the Seattle Seahawks. At 6-2, Kitna and company have rocked the dome and soared to the top of the AFC West.
Jon Kitna. I think I understand this franchise's history a little more than some of the guys. I understand what it's like in the Kingdome. It would be nice in a symbolic way to play the AFC Championship game there.
The Denver Broncos have been to the mountain, but age and injury have defaced the two-time champs. At 3-6, Denver is sliding, making tonight a must-win game. It's the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos on ESPN Sunday Night Football. Seattle, Washington on a huge night for the hometown Seahawks, and right in downtown the Kingdome, where Jon Kitna's family is just part of the sellout crowd of 66,000 excited about tonight's matchup and the return of wide receiver Joey Galloway. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick, along with Joe Theismann and Paul McGuire. It's great to have you with us. This is a major statement game in the AFC West tonight. The two-time Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos desperately trying to stay alive. And the first place Seattle Seahawks trying to make a statement about the changing of the guard. Joe, in his first year in Seattle, Mike Holmgren has done a remarkable job.
And, Mike, they haven't even played their best football yet. As a matter of fact, Mike Holmgren says they're an improving football team. Certainly with Joey Galloway back, they're going to have a chance to open up that offense. But the guy that's been most impressive has been Jon Kitna, their young quarterback. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the league, and he certainly doesn't have the legs to scramble around like other guys we've seen. But he's very efficient at running this offense. The question is Seattle going to be able to match the intensity tonight of the two-time defending champs?
You know, Joe, there aren't many teams that can survive an 0-4 start and the devastating injuries that Denver has had. But, Paul, even at 3-6, they're still breathing.
Barely. Michael, their pulse is very faint, but they do have a chance tonight. 5 out of the next 7 games are in their division. The only problem is that they have to win all 7 games. Talking to Mike Shanahan yesterday, he said we have to do 2 things. We have to run the ball so effectively that we take the fans out of this game. And number 2, we cannot afford 1 turnover.
All right, Paul, will the Super Bowl champs summon up the pride, or will the Seahawks drive a stake in their heart? It's all next on ESPN's Sunday Night Football.
Don't just watch Monday and Sunday Night Football, play along. Check out our live interactive game and more during the telecast. It's enhanced TV. Log on to ESPN or NFL.com now.
Welcome back to the Kingdome. Let's get down to the sideline. Our colleague Solomon Wilcox with Denver head coach Mike Shanahan.
Thanks, Mike. Coach, tonight you begin a difficult 5-game stretch inside of the division. Can you win out and make it into the postseason?
Well, that's what we're working for. We've got our hands full tonight, so hopefully we can start it with a win tonight.
Now, you know it's going to be loud here in this stadium. How have you prepared your team to deal with the crowd noise here in the Kingdome?
Well, it's always tough, especially being in a dome stadium, but we've been here before. We've worked on it this week, and hopefully it'll pay dividends.
All right. Thanks for your time, Coach. And Mike Shanahan will have the services of his starting wide receiver, Ed McCaffrey. He sat out last week with a knee injury. For Seattle, they will be without their Pro Bowl defensive end, Mike Sinclair. He's nursing a poor growing muscle, Mike.
All right, Solomon, a pair of division rivals ready to get it on. It's the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos on ESPN Sunday Night Football.
Good morning.
You're looking at the two coaches who have claimed the last 3 Super Bowl titles in the NFL. Mike Shanahan, the last 2. Mike Holmgren just before him with the Green Bay Packers. And Holmgren has his big play weapon back after a protracted holdout. Joey Galloway has returned to the Seattle Seahawks already with 36 touchdowns in his career. How much of an impact he'll have tonight, we'll have to wait and see. But all is forgiven in Seattle. Just get on the field and score some touchdowns.
But all is forgiven if he catches the touchdown pass.
Well, all is forgiven if he catches a pass. Talking to Mike,
right.
Well, talking to Mike down on the field before the game, he said, you know, this is really a big game. I'd only planned on using Joey about 20 plays, but boy, this is a big game.
Chris Watson deep to receive as Denver will get the ball first. Bounces in front of Watson, still loose. And the Broncos somehow got it back. For Denver's offense, Chris Miller played for the first time in almost 4 years last week and won. A great beginning to his comeback. Rookie Olandis Gary has been a savior of the running game. 465 yards in 5 games. He starts with Griffith, Smith, McCaffrey, and Carswell. Up front, Trey Teague makes his first NFL start for the injured Tony Jones, along with Schlereth, Nalen, Neal, and Lepsis. Broncos dodge a bullet on the opening kickoff and start from their own 13. And it's the rookie, Olandis Gary, draggling tacklers with him. Seattle's front line banged up. They'll start LeBounty, Adams, Cortez Kennedy with 5.5 sacks and 37 tackles, both number 1 on the line, and Daniels at linebacker, Smith, Simmons, and Chad Brown, second on the club in tackles, a 2-time Pro Bowler. An excellent secondary led by Pro Bowler Sean Springs, who has 3 interceptions, Willie Williams, Darrell Williams, and Bellamy. This time, Gary gets nothing as Cortez Kennedy got in his way.
Cortez Kennedy. When you were mentioning interceptions, you know Cortez has 2 interceptions. All right, Cortez Kennedy. Nalen, number 66. Watch Cortez, 96. He plays off the guard, and then he comes right back inside and makes the play. That just shows you the ability and agility of this defensive tackle. He's 6'3", 306. He's down from last year. Down a lot. About 50.
He and Sam Adams may be 2 of the most athletic linemen in the history of the National Football League. 35. Miller with time to throw too high. Intended for Rod Smith, and it will bring up a punting situation.
Denver actually accomplished what they wanted to on that drive. They got a couple of running plays. They were in a manageable 3rd and 5 to try and convert the 3rd down. Good job by Seattle's defense not letting them have it.
Tom Ruin will kick. Charlie Rogers, 16.3. He is second in the NFL. There had been some thoughts that Galloway would return kicks. But Rogers, the rookie out of Georgia Tech, is back there. A short kick. They'll let it bounce, and it will die inside the Denver 40-yard line. A punt of 42 yards. The Seattle offense has John Kitna at quarterback. He's had an exceptional first half. 12 touchdown passes, only 4 picks, and the number 2 passer rating in the AFC. Ricky Waters is on pace for his 6th 1,000-yard season. He starts with Strong, Dawkins, Mays, and Fourier, the tight end. Up front, Jones, Pete Kendall, who has started every game of his 4-year career, along with Gray, Habib, and Williams. Waters, the deep man in the eye, will get the first carry and a yard to the 40. For Denver's defense, Neil Smith, number 7 on the NFL's all-time sack list, makes only his 2nd start of the season, along with Traylor, Price, and Tanuvasa. The linebackers, Bill Romanowski, who was chosen for his 2nd Pro Bowl last year, Wilson, and Cadrez. Great corners in the secondary with Crockett and Carter. At safety, Braxton and Eric Brown, who succeeds Steve Atwater and leads the club in tackles. 2 tight ends on the field. Instead, they throw to Derek Mays, and Mays about a yard short of a first down. Jennifer Kitna, the wife of the quarterback, living a dream along with her husband.
Well, I'll tell you, that time, Denver wasn't even set, Joe, when they came out. They went on a quick count.
Well, that's part of the key of what Seattle wants to do. They want to take advantage of having the ability to get up, get to the line of scrimmage, and go quick. The other thing is I like, is John Kitna was rolling out that time. Mike Shanahan's going to want his defense to put a lot of pressure on Kitna. If he's moving around, it's going to be hard to figure out which way to go after him.
Third and a yard, Brian Milne comes into the backfield. He's number 44. And Kitna didn't like the way they were lining up and has to use the timeout. 12:17 to go. Early first quarter. Nothing in Seattle.
What if all... Working with a great actor is like tennis. It pushes you. It makes you better.
These overhead shots provided by the Southwest Airlines Aerial Cam high above Seattle, Washington for ESPN's Sunday Night Football.
It's a beautiful area.
It's a gorgeous downtown.
It only takes like 3 days to get here. That's the problem.
I think if you're going to run the ball here, you run it at Neil Smith because he's the lightest of the guys up front.
The toss and a first down. And more. Amon Green with the brilliant speed out of Nebraska comes in on fourth down, picks up 12.
Would you watch how nice he stayed behind Brian Milne, number 44? He's the third back in the backfield. They tossed the ball to Amon Green. Well, look at number 44, Milne. All he has to do is hit Crockett, knock him to the outside, and then Green just stays on his feet, stays in bounds, and picks up another 7 yards. That's great running.
Against the Denver defense ranked 10th overall in the NFL. They have played exceptionally well this year. Kitna with plenty of time over the middle and incomplete, intended for Waters. And he was covered by the rookie middle linebacker Al Wilson out of Tennessee.
Now, Ricky Waters came back in on first down. What they're doing is they're using Amon Green on third down. Having a chance to talk to Ricky earlier this week, he said, hey, it's great. I like the fact that the young guy's coming in, he relieves me. Now, that's a different Ricky Waters.
Isn't it ever?
He's always been the one that wanted the ball. Now he understands that sharing time is good for the team.
Waters on the toss. Braxton brings him down, but he reaches the 35 first.
I really like the way Seattle is approaching this offensively with the quick counts. They're just not giving Denver a chance to get up there and play with their safeties. What you do is if safeties like to support, and that's what Denver does, they like to bring them from 15 yards away. If you go on quick counts, you're going to make Greg Robinson's defense declare where the support is going to be right away.
3rd and 4 for Denver on their or for Seattle on their opening possession. Kitna, Waters in the flat, and he barrels his way for a first down into Dale Carter.
I'm going to tell you what, when you see Ricky Waters, he said one thing to us yesterday. He said Walter Payton, he loved Walter Payton, he inspired him. He said, I don't like to run out of bounds.
John Kitna looking down the field, just a perfect swing pass. I think this is the hardest throw in football, to lead a running back swinging out. But boy, does he deliver a blow when he gets there.
Well, he does, but again, he's trying to stay in bounds and not go out of bounds. Dale Carter knocks him out.
Joey Galloway on the field for the first time this year, but he won't be involved in the play as Waters gets a carry down to the Denver 26-yard line.
He tried to throw a block,
which is something he's going to have to do in this offense. This is a different offense than Joey has been used to playing in the previous years. He used to be used to run down the field and keep people occupied. Here, Mike Holmgren's going to want him to go in and block.
I don't think he's got enough field to have him on. They got to get him back on like the 20, give him 80 yards.
Yeah, but Dale Carter's giving him a whole lot of room.
2nd and 7. Galloway just shy of the first down. Carter makes the tackle, and the fans will come to their feet in the Kingdome.
I'm going to show you the amount of room that Dale Carter gave Joey Galloway on this one. He was off him about 10 yards. And really, Dale is not that kind of a player. This is not comfortable for Dale Carter. He's a much more effective corner when he's up around the line of scrimmage and able to get his hands on receivers.
Well, he said it's been a tough adjustment in this scheme, playing a lot more zone than he's used to.
What did he say yesterday? Why did he have to come back for this game?
That's exactly right. Amon Green in on 3rd and a yard, and he lowers his head. second effort got him close to our first down line. And it looks like the mark is right at the line. Green, the speed guy, 6 feet 213 out of Nebraska. Before they drafted him, they did some workouts. He ran between a 4.14 and a 4.2. That's flying. One of the reasons he hasn't played much this year, Mike Holmgren saw him fumble several times in the preseason. You don't fumble for Mike Holmgren. If you do, you don't play.
Well, he had a similar situation with Charlie Rogers, his punt returner. Put a couple on the ground a few weeks ago, sat him down, didn't dress him in the last game. He has a way of getting his message across.
And Neil Smith and John Kitna having words over the measurement, and then Neil Smith shoves Kitna. Well, it's going to be really testy if they're arguing over the measurement.
Well, Kitna wanted to get a better look at it. Neil Smith didn't want him to see it at all. And it doesn't make any difference where you're looking. It's the officials that mark the ball.
Well, you know what you do as a quarterback? You don't get quite that close to them, because they want to hit you too much anyway, so you don't give them a reason.
And when they're that big and you're the quarterback, you say, excuse me, pardon me, sir, do you mind if I walk around you?
There you go. You have 4 receivers.
This will be the 10th play of this drive.
Derek Mays has been his guy down here.
Kitna to Pritchard, and just off his fingertips, Romanowski was covering Pritchard. What a mismatch.
Oh, man, you talk about if you're the quarterback, Joseph, you got that matchup down the field. I mean, you got exactly what you want. You spread them out with Galloway to the outside. Pritchard's coming down the middle. Romanowski, 53, the linebacker on him. The ball was just thrown too far.
No pressure. Just hangs it out just a tad too far.
Romanowski's got to be thinking, how do I end up on a guy who's 5'10", 193 pounds and can run? Draw play, Waters slips one tackle and dives forward to the 17.
The most effective teams in the red area inside the 20 are teams that are able to run the football. If you can do that, you can keep the linebackers a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. And there isn't a lot of room to work there, so Mike will have a chance to be able to get a ball, possibly to a tight end here. Going to be tough to run the post to your outside people. I still think you have to work the inside of the field. They go back with the 4 wide receiver set here.
Blitz, Kitna hangs in there, throws for Galloway, out of bounds. Carter, excellent coverage.
I'll tell you, the blitz was picked up very well. Seattle, they hung in there and did a great job, gave him time to throw the ball. He just overthrows Galloway to the outside.
Now, one thing the Seahawks have done this week, they've brought in Mark Rodenhauser as a snapper. They've changed snappers. He was home in Pittsburgh for half the year, just doing nothing, got released by Pittsburgh last year. But he gets the ball back to the kickers and to the holders so quickly that it's improved the efficiency of their kicking game.
Todd Peterson will try a field goal from 35 yards. He's hit 18 of 21 this year. And knocks this one through. Good snap, good hold, good kick. And the Seahawks burn more than 5 minutes off the first quarter clock and take a 3-0 lead. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By Charles Schwab, creating a world of smarter investors. By Compaq, providing better answers to more people. Compaq, better answers. By Isuzu, we don't make cars because life is too big for cars. And by Lee Dungarees, can't bust them. Seahawks on top early, 3-0 on a Todd Peterson field goal. And Peterson to kick it away to Chris Watson, third in the conference in kickoff return. Breaks one tackle, but then swarmed under at the 30. Marker down at the end of the play. 30-yard line. Ed Hockley, the referee tonight, discussing it with his officiating crew.
Well, there's the umpire, Chad Brown. He's also playing defense.
You got a kick out of that one.
I did. I saw it. Chad Brown is the umpire in this game.
Will be a hold against Denver.
And Chad Brown, number 94, is playing linebacker, so he's got playing linebacker with a flag in his pocket.
He also has a reptile.
During the return, holding by the receiving team, number 89. 10-yard penalty, Denver's ball, first down.
Dwayne Carswell, the tight end, called for the hold on the return. Denver will start from the 20 when we come back. There's the rookie running back from Georgia, Olandis Gary, and since taking over for the injured Terrell Davis, he has not only been productive, he has been a workhorse. In his first 5 games, he had 125 carries. That's only 2 short of Eric Dickerson's record. And the other men on that list were not only first-round draft choices, but the top 4 chosen in the entire draft.
You got to watch him run, folks. His teammates call him Stinger.
And why?
Because when he hits you, you end up with a stinger in your shoulder, your neck.
Gary, nice hole up the middle, picks up about 9. He broke Seattle's streak a week ago. They had gone 26 games without giving up a 100-yard rusher. He did it.
Watch Tom Nail in the center. I'm going to put a little super straight on him right there. There's the center. You see him snap the ball. What he's going to do, makes the move, comes out to the right, comes back to the left, does a good job of feinting, then blocking.
2nd and a yard for Denver. They want to pound the ball. Gary hit hard and then got 2 more yards after the initial hit by Anthony Simmons, the middle linebacker.
You know, we had a discussion yesterday, Joe, about Denver's running backs. And Denver's running backs, you run one way for Denver or you don't play for the Denver Broncos.
Basically what you do is the way the offensive line blocks, and it's John Avery over there, and what happens is you make a move, you're allowed 1 move. Alec Gibbs, the offensive line coach, says, look, make 1 move and then hit it. And that's the way these guys run.
And there aren't many line coaches that get the kind of respect he does. Gary was the man in motion, and now he'll get the ball in the flat. Crosses the 35 to the 36. Taken out of bounds by Darrell Williams, the strong side safety.
Obviously, some of the play calls that Gary Kubiak is sending in to Chris Miller are for a couple reasons. Number one, they want to take time off the clock. They want to keep the crowd somewhat silent, and they've done a good job so far in the first quarter. Secondly, Chris Miller has had a history of a lot of injuries, and Brian Greasy's not quite ready yet. His shoulder is sore, even though he's the backup guy. So I would look for him to play it a little bit close to the vest, maybe take 1 or 2 shots a quarter, but not a lot.
Plus, you've got a left tackle starting his first game for the injured Tony Jones. Miller, good protection. Rod Smith came back, couldn't make the catch, and they're going to flag Sean Springs. They were tied up at the sideline. Gain of 19 if it's an interference call.
Sean Springs saying, what'd that do?
Defensive backs have a clock in their head. They know when the quarterback should get rid of the football. He knows that the ball should have been in the air by then. And all of a sudden it's thrown inside, and he's trying to take a position outside to make a play on it. Looked a little bit more like incidental contact.
Yeah, I didn't like that call, Joe. I mean, he's playing. Mike Shanahan said this is probably the best cornerback playing in the game today. Sean Springs. And that was just outstanding coverage.
Automatic first down on the penalty. Denver in Seattle territory. Nice play fake by Miller. Rifles it to McCaffrey. He lost the ball. He has taken so many shots this year, and there is a flag down on the play, and it'll be a hold against Denver. McCaffrey seems to get drilled every time he goes downfield. He missed last week with a bad knee.
Let me tell you something. If you watch football and you don't like McCaffrey, there's something really mentally wrong with you. When you watch this guy play, not only does he get nailed, he comes down.
Number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's Trey Teague, the left tackle.
And it looks like, well, he's not going to get up. But he gets back up and goes after the ball. Here comes McCaffrey. Watch this. Across the middle, He gets nailed.
Trey Teague, number 70, you see him on the left side of the screen. He's holding on to Philip Daniels. Holding on to him real good, too. Got to hold him a little longer.
It's 1st and 20 after the holding call. Olandis Gary helicopters his way for a couple. ESPN Sunday Night Football continues next week with a look at one of the NFL's best. Mark Brunell and the first-place Jacksonville Jaguars host Ricky Williams and the New Orleans Saints. Join Joe, Paul, and me right after prime time at 8:15 Eastern. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive networks for prime time NFL football.
Ricky Williams had 99 yards today, Joseph.
They looked pretty good against San Francisco. Of course, San Francisco's really not a good football team this year.
2nd and 18. Here comes the blitz. They try to throw the screen to Gary, but Chad Brown was right in the middle of it.
Chad Brown, if that thing's off the target at all, Chad Brown's gone.
I see that more and more in the league today. I mean, to me as a quarterback, this is scary. Chris Miller goes back. Chad Brown is coming up. He's right in Gary's hip pocket off to the right of your screen. And you see him. Here comes the screen. But look at Chad. Chad's right there. I mean, you got everybody. You got Darren Smith in front of him. Chad Brown behind him. Chris is lucky he got the ball anywhere near close. Jim Lynn, the linebacker coach, and calling defensive signal as this guy's running all over.
4 wide receivers set. And now Miller wants the timeout. Play clock was winding down. Timeout on the field. Back in a moment. That's All-Pro tight end Shannon Sharp. Just one of the several devastating injuries the Denver Broncos have had to key players. He has a broken collarbone. They hope to get him back in December. But they have lost one guy after another, starting with Terrell Davis. Their all-pro running back out with a bad knee. Alfred Williams, another Pro Bowler. Mobley, Sharp, and Tony Jones, who made the Pro Bowl last year. You can't lose that many Pro Bowlers and hope to continue on the course you set the last 2 years. Jones out with a triceps injury. That one's tipped, and McCaffrey makes the catch at the 38 anyway. Excellent concentration by McCaffrey as Philip Daniels was putting the pressure on Miller and got a hand on it.
He is their guy to go into the middle of the football field and just constantly takes a beating. Philip Daniels, number 93, putting pressure on, comes inside, rushes to a certain degree, and this one bounces off his chest. And Ed McCaffrey, somehow, way, shape, or form, comes down with it.
Well, Philip Daniels is one of those guys with Sinclair, Adams, and Kennedy up front. Daniels never gets the credit he deserves. He's an outstanding player. Charlie Rogers back to field. The punt ruin hangs it very high, but too long. 38-yard kick, but a net of only 18. And the Seahawks will start from their own 20 when we come back. The crowds here at the Kingdome this year reminiscent of the crowds back in the late 80s here in Seattle. Of course, it's been that long since they've had this good a record. They are sold out through the rest of the year, and with 66,400 on hand, hoping that they can repeat their only championship set back in 1988. Kittner to throw on first down. Pressure coming. Throws to the sidelines. Dawkins in front of Crockett. First down. They never had a big receiver out here, and Mike Holmgren wanted some guy with that size, and he got him in Dawkins.
Well, John Kittner says, you know, when he throws the ball to Sean Dawkins, all he sees is a big chest. Now, I'm going to give you a look from John's seat. There he is with the play-action fake. Look at the way the offensive line opens it up and creates a throwing lane for him, puts it right on his big numbers.
Galloway back on the field. They'll give it to Waters. And Ricky, not much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage before he's cut down. Al Wilson, the rookie middle linebacker, and Trevor Price make the tackle.
You know, when you see Ricky Waters, folks, and he gets up and he's shaking his head and he's talking, he always talks. He talks to himself. He talks to everybody. But the thing about him is that he believes that every time he touches the ball, he should at least gain 10 yards, if not score.
You know, he's become a much more disciplined runner. Early in his career, he'd try and bounce everything outside. Now, if he has to take it up inside, he just takes it as hard as he can.
Seahawks showing great balance so far. Waters, big seam, and he dives for a first down.
That's what I'm talking about. When he touches the ball, he thinks he's going to have 10 yards. Ricky Waters, that was the hole. That was the place it was called, and that's exactly what you said, Joe. That's where he goes. Watch him. Poirier gets a block. Watch Waters. They just seal off to the inside, and he sees the hole, picks up 10, and he's still not happy.
Yeah, not a very good job by Torrey James, number 20, trying to make a tackle on him. You're not going to bring him down trying to grab an ankle.
Waters. Oh, what a shot. Eric Brown, the free safety, diagnosed the play immediately and came flying up.
That's how you bring him down.
Yes, sir.
Not by an ankle, by a thigh.
Hey.
Number 26, Eric Brown. There he is, right there. He's going to come flying right up the field.
Well, like
he sees the pitch. Look at the big arrows going, babe. The super straighter. All right.
This time the free safety really was. Ate up Ricky Waters.
Pete Kendall, the guard, coming out. There's just no way that he can get out there that fast.
2nd and 18. Kitna, pump fake, now chase, and throws incomplete. Tried to get it to Fourier. Keith Traylor was all over him. Pressure up the middle. Traylor's a bulldozer.
And this is where Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, really is in charge of what he wants to do. He can either go after Kitna, or he can lay back, rush 4, and drop 7 into the zones.
Traylor is 304. He was originally drafted by Denver as a linebacker. Back with his 2nd tour of duty now as a defensive lineman. Obviously, he could not keep the weight down.
So we're going to bring the 4.
Kitna with time and got it in for the first down, or very close to it. Derek Mays with a catch, a gain of 19.
Did you see Kitna after the last play? He said, come on, guys, just give me some time. I've got people open. Well, that time, the offensive line does the job.
It allows him an opportunity to get the ball out to Derek Mays working on Ray Crockett. Crockett takes the inside position. Mays does a nice job of selling it, working back into the soft hole, and know where the first down is.
Here's what you were talking about before, Joe. Watch the lane they give him to throw the ball in. Now he just steps up. There's the lane. Perfect to throw the football.
Kitna with the number 2 passer rating in the entire AFC. Under pressure again and throws this one out of bounds. And it's throws like that that have made him an outstanding quarterback in a coach's mind like Mike Holmgren. 12 touchdown passes, only 4 interceptions. In his first 7 starts under Mike Holmgren, Kitna has put up better numbers than Brett Favre had in his first 7 starts in Holmgren's offense. In all fairness, Kitna did have 5 starts last year before Holmgren arrived.
You could throw Favre's numbers up there this year and it'd be about the same.
You're right. Sideline and complete at the 32. Galloway with a catch.
It's that type of efficiency and that placement of the football that Mike Holmgren likes about John Kitna. Joey Galloway certainly has the ability to use his speed. But what Mike Holmgren likes so much about Kitna is the efficiency with which he runs it, but then he utilizes his ability. He knows he's not that fast. He knows his arm is not one of those rockets, and he just has a great anticipation of where the receivers are. This is certainly a different offense than we saw a few weeks ago against Oakland.
Fumbled the snap, and it looked like Kitna was able to cover it up for a loss of about a yard. That should be the last play of the period. And that is the end of the first quarter. Seattle at home leading Denver 3-0.
ESPN Sports Century, available at bookstores now.
Joey Galloway was scheduled to make $1.585 million this year, but after his 102-day holdout, he's a little lighter in the wallet. He will make less than $500,000 this year because of the fines and the salaries he has missed. His holdout, fellas, was really the first big test for Mike Holmgren, the general manager.
Well, this is what Mike Holmgren argued with himself. Mike the coach and Mike the general manager. And they both won. The coach got him back on the team, and the general manager got all the money back that he wanted. He still got him for the price he wanted to get him for.
Yeah, but the coach still has to see some things about Joey Galloway. Everybody knows about his speed. But the thing that the position requires that he wants him to play requires toughness, requires courage, requires a work ethic. And really, he's the guy that's going to have to want the football at a time when it's crucial in a game. I personally think that he will be able to meet all those qualifications once he gets settled comfortably in this offense.
That was Waters on the toss, knocked out of bounds by Romanowski. The question remains, this is a different offense than he has ever been in, and Mike Holmgren has always required his wide receivers to go over the middle, take big hits. That has not been Joey Galloway's stock in trade.
But also, I think in fairness to Joey, he hasn't been asked to do that. And I think Joey Galloway can be a complete receiver. Of course, it's going to remain to be seen just how effective he can be.
3rd and 8. Again, good protection for Kitna. And he throws complete to a wide-open Dawkins at the 10.
Boy, I will tell you what, blocking up front, Joe, again, if Kitna has this much time, Dawkins was not his primary target, as we know, and you're going to describe that. But look at this offensive line, Joseph. You've got all day to throw.
Watch Dawkins break across the middle, and you're absolutely right, Paul. For a receiver to run that far across a defense, a quarterback should not be allowed to stand in the pocket that long. I really believe that Greg Robinson is going to have to start to come after Kidman.
1st and goal. The whistle, this one dead. Kitna's hit 7 of his first 12 for 85 yards here in the first half.
Before the snap, false start, offense, right guard, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Brian Habib called for the penalty, so it's 1st and goal from the 14. The injuries continue to mount for the Denver Broncos. Their starting free safety, Eric Brown, has a sprained knee, and we are told he will not return to this ball game. He came in leading the club in tackles with 77 this year.
Which only lends me to believe that Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, is going to have to start bringing more than 4 people after John Kitna.
George Coghill is now in the Denver lineup. Glenn Cadrez made that tackle on Waters shy of the 10-yard line. It will be 2nd and goal.
One thing, there's Eric Brown there. The guy that's injured and won't be back. But the one thing about this Seahawks team, as good as they're playing this year, they only have 1 rushing touchdown.
Yeah,
why?
Well, because first of all, Mike Holmgren likes to throw the football. That's his nature. He likes to put the ball in the air, especially down here in the red area. He loves to work the tight end down here.
This will be the 13th play of another impressive drive for the Seahawks. Over the middle, touchdown, the catch by May. Snatched it out of the air.
That's why you only get 1 rushing touchdown. He loves to throw the football. This is such a tremendous catch. What a job by Derek Mays. You're going to see him from the right of your screen. Watch him reach back and make this play. He just reaches up and snatches it out of the air. The last 3 weeks, they've run routes very similar to this, and he's wound up with touchdowns.
Good throw, better catch. Peterson for the point after. And the Seahawks, very disciplined, very efficient. They lead it 10-0. By EA Sports and NBA Live 2000. It's in the game. It's in the game. And by 10-10-3-2-1. Now just 8 cents a minute for calls over 10 minutes. The Kingdome is rocking in its final season. The Seahawks up by 10. Chris Watson from the 10. Airborne shy of the 30. Chris Canty picked him up and put him down.
On that last touchdown pass, John Kitna does a nice job working Bill Romanowski. Romo's right there in the middle. What's going to happen is the tight end's going to come across, and then you're going to see Derek Mays. Romo doesn't quite get back over. Tight end drags underneath him, makes him take one step out of the way, which just allows Kitna the opportunity to squeeze it in to Mays.
John Kitna with his 13th touchdown pass of the season. Gary. Boy, this kid is tough. Picks up 10 across the 40-yard line.
Well, this is that one move. I mean, they know as a runner on this football team, Terrell Davis learned it at the beginning. Orlando Gary learns the same thing. Watch this. He goes to his right. Watch the one cut here. He's right up the field. There's no hesitation. You have one.
Neal comes out, makes the trap, kicks it out, and you see the hole cutting back up through the middle.
6 carries, 30 yards for Orlando Gary. Again, another nice block up front, and Gary crosses the 45 for another 5 yards. He started his college career at Marshall, and then when Jim Donnan went to Georgia, he followed him there, and only in his second year at Georgia, he was elected as the team captain for the Bulldogs. Speaks very highly of Orlando Gary.
And he's one of those rookies that you don't have to worry about fresh legs with as you enter the second half of the season, because he only started after the 5th game.
Michael Sinclair, the tremendous defensive end, out with a groin injury. The sack master has been to 3 straight Pro Bowls. They expect him back next week, or at least they hope for it. 2nd and 5, Gary again. Close to another first down.
The way that Denver is approaching this, I like the calls that Gary Kubiak is making. You know, you're down 10 points. That's fine. It's early in the second quarter. You're still in control of this. You know the best part of your offense right now is your offensive line. So you put it on their shoulders to try and pick up chunks for you. I do believe somewhere around here, which is the nature of Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak, you'll see a little play action and try and get the ball to Rod Smith.
This one's going to be a little bit short.
You've been very good at this.
Just a tad short.
You'll notice that I've given up on it.
Don't give up.
I'm not giving up.
It's just a tad short.
I defer to the
That's called a tad.
That's a tad?
That's a tad.
That's a tad. Well, what's a skosh?
Scooch. A scooch is just a little bit.
Just a little tiny bit.
More than that.
That's a scooch.
That's when they made it a little while ago. That was by a scooch.
Well, do you go for the first down here, or do you go play action, Mr. Size?
I think you get the first down. You've been running the ball well. You want to do something with play action, you do it the next time, the next play.
They've been blocking beautifully straight up the middle. Quarterback keeper by Miller.
Well, that's when you know you have a lot of confidence in somebody's medical condition.
Yes, sir.
Especially Chris Miller.
Put the head down. Monday Night Countdown tomorrow night at 7. Mike Tirico, Sterling Sharp, and Ron Jaworski with all the latest news around the league. Then at 9, it's ABC's Monday Night Football. Curtis Martin and the Jets head to Foxborough to battle Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive networks for primetime NFL football. Gary again, not this time hit instantly by Anthony Simmons.
Well, if you're going to shoot a gap, you've got to make sure you're going to get the runner on the way. Now, Denver, all they've done is run the football. So they're lining up saying, we're going to run the ball. And that's what Mike Shanahan told us yesterday. This is what they have to do. They have to run the ball and take this crowd out of it.
I think you have to do it in moderation. You can't run 5 or 6 in a row. You've got to mix in a little drop back, a little bit of play action. They've run 5 consecutive times with no passes. Now you're pretty much obliged to be able to put the ball in the air. I think the big thing you want to try and do is work the middle of the football field here. Got an injured player right now limping over.
And it's Matt Lepsis, the right tackle. They have already lost the left tackle, Tony Jones. And Melvin Tootin, number 71, walks onto the field. Tootin was just signed this week. to come in for just this reason. So you have a left tackle who hasn't played and a right tackle who hasn't played.
I think you got a chance. You want to work some. You can work McCaffrey over the middle in there. That's the area that they've been having some success.
James Willis wraps up Olandis Gary. And there's a flag down as well in the Seattle secondary.
It's going to be holding against the Broncos.
And that's about 7 yards downfield.
Holding, offense number 89, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Dwayne Carswell, the tight end.
I agree with Joe. You can't just decide, especially against this defensive line and linebackers, that you're going to run the ball down their throat.
I think you ran it a few times, picked up 5 yards, 8 yards, picked up the first down. Might have been a good time for play action. Here, now you're obligated to put the ball in the air. I still think you want to try and work the middle of the football field against this defense.
Smith, the motion man. Miller dumps it off to Smith. He pulls an escape act and gets all the way to the Seattle 45-yard line.
Well, he was looking down the field for Ed McCaffrey, but I tell you what, Smith, you talk about a great move after you catch the ball. There are a lot of receivers who can catch the ball, and without these kind of moves, this was a super move. When Smith makes this catch, he knows he's about to get hit. You see him in motion. Joseph was on him. Now Smith comes out underneath. Billy, he just dumps it to watch this move right here. Bang, back to the inside. Joseph goes by him. He picks up about 13 yards.
Smith, undrafted out of Missouri Southern, spent his first year on the practice squad with the Denver Broncos. They really developed a heck of a receiver. Miller, intended for McCaffrey. He is covered like a blanket by spring.
That's just not a bad play. We sometimes sit here and we try to dissect offenses and say, oh, he should have done this, he should have done that. They're on the 45-yard line. There's a chance to put your punter out there, back him up, play the field position game.
Punt's not a bad play.
We heard that, didn't we? Kippy Brown, that's what Kippy Brown told us yesterday at Miami. He said, punch can be my friend at times.
Ruin to kick to Charlie Rogers. Hangs it very high. Rogers, fair catch inside the 10. 36-yard punt, no return. And the Denver Broncos in a hole, 10-0, will start from their own 9. For those of you who would like to simultaneously experience tonight's game on television and online, log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com and click on the enhanced TV logo. And after this play, we will take you live to the internet. And Paul and Joe will face off again. Waters. A couple to the 11. Let's go live to the internet. We're going to go back to our primetime player game. Paul got one right last week because we asked him his zip code. And now we're going to go back to who gets the ball on the first play.
This mine? I go?
Yes.
All right, I'll take running back.
When he says Joe, that's you.
Okay, I'll go running back. Here's your chance to add to your lead.
You mean he's running?
I think he will run the football. I think if one of the running backs will run the ball. That's the option. This is the different game. This is the one where you didn't have any points.
I don't understand.
That's why he didn't have any points.
Waters, and he is annihilated by Nate Wayne.
Obviously, Greg Robinson is playing the same game I am.
Oh, man.
Ricky Waters doesn't want to play this game.
Oh, boy.
All right, Paul,
you get
to...
I get to what?
You get to make your choice.
All right, who's in there? Let me find out who's in there first.
Joey Galloway.
No, he's not throwing it to Joey.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
All right.
Hey, whose turn is it? Yours or mine? Did he say Joe or Paul? All right, he's going to throw it to the tight end. What a guess this is. Number 86. You think he's going to throw it to Christian Poirier, huh? Nasty block.
Threw this one away.
Throwing it towards Joey Galloway.
Oh, will you
And
stop?
Paul's record is intact.
Well, he didn't get it. Oh, yeah, he did. He got 10. Didn't he?
Yes, he did. All right, let's check the standings again. Paul, I'm sorry. Well, you did get 30 points for your zip code.
Well, I got to wait. Let me just ask a question before they punt. If I had said Galloway and he threw it towards him, he didn't catch it, doesn't count, right?
No.
He has to catch it?
Yes. Chris Watson
It's a tough game.
waits at his own 44. Denver should have good field positions. Fiegels will have to kick from his own end zone. He's not kicked well this year. Last in the AFC, less than 40 yards a pop. This one's very short and toward the sideline. And Fiegels kicks it well inside his own territory. Denver with a field position break. Down 10-0. Only a punt of 35 yards for Jeff Fiegels. Ball. Great field position for Denver. They start from Seattle's 43, by far their best position of the night. Miller to Gary in the flat. Olandis Gary with a stutter step. Anybody who had ever seen Chris Miller play for the Atlanta Falcons or the Rams before he was injured had to be so happy to see him come back last week. For the first time in nearly 4 years, he was on the field, started and won, and when it was over, the tears just poured out of his eyes, and boy, you can understand it.
And the night before, he said he was more nervous than he was when he was a rookie. He watched the clock tick every hour. He was exhausted at the end of the game because he didn't sleep the night before.
Well, his family was nervous, too. He said his dad had to mix his mom a drink, and she doesn't drink. Play action by Miller. Incomplete, some contact downfield, no flag. We asked Chris Miller if football was different for him the second time around.
I played 9 years. I think we had 3 winning seasons out of those 9. And so my career wasn't definitely as fulfilling as I would have liked to have been. So when I got an opportunity to come back, now I'm 34, I got a family, I got 2 kids, your priorities change. So I came back with the thought in mind to give it everything I got, to work out hard during the offseason, and if I get a chance to play, go back and have fun, make it fun.
Gary swarmed on 3rd and 2. He nearly ended up in, or it'll be 4th and 2. He nearly ended up in Seattle. The thing that stopped him from signing with Mike Holmgren, who was really interested in him, was the medical opinions from the Seattle medical staff and the fact that they play on AstroTurf here. And that was a concern.
It was a big concern. Also, the other thing was, is Chris lives out in Oregon, Portland, and it was an opportunity for him to have a chance to go back and forth home. I like this call, too. You're on the road. Doesn't matter. You need to win. You need points now. Mike Shanahan's decided to go for it.
Olandis Gary has the first down. What they passed on was a 52-yard field goal try, which is hardly money in the bank anyway.
You know what they did that was so smart? They walked up to the ball and didn't let the crowd noise get into it. They went up, and on a quick count, they went, and they got the first down.
How often have we seen games through the course of today where you put the tight end in motion, he's offside, somebody else jumps offside? To me, you get up, you get it going, let your big guys blow them off the ball, and let them pick up the yard.
Just one other thing about Chris, but I'm just so happy to see him back. I mean, this guy is a tremendous guy.
I think he's got this is a great shot for a play-action opportunity to put it in the end zone.
Gary. Kennedy drags him down after a gain of maybe 3 to the 28-yard line.
Is that your choice on that game?
I continue to
lose
run
10.
Ball. Cortez Kennedy continuing to be a force in the middle. Number 96, the big guy right in the middle. He's going to fire it right through. Got the big arrows because he's a big guy. See him get into the guard and just play it off. Boy, he's playing sensational.
Well, they've created
5.5
a monster.
sacks.
With your finger, they've created a monster.
Big lines, little lines, got it all.
Here comes the blitz. Miller somehow got out of there. And then goes down at the 25. A gain of 3 after he should have lost 10 on the sack. Kerry Joseph had him dead to rights on the blitz and missed it.
You know, one of the things they tell you when you blitz, whether you're a linebacker or a defensive back, the first thing you must do is get your hands on the man you're going after. That's a quarterback. You've got to come under control. Chris Miller just steps up. Joseph goes by. He walks. He moves up, and now they're like 3rd and 5. They're in great position. That is a bad play by a safety instead of 3rd and 17.
And a tremendous save by Chris Miller. Pressure again. Rod Smith, first down and more. To the 10. Miller hung in there under pressure and threw a strike.
You know how you look back at a game, and we talked about it, 4 or 5 plays are very critical in the outcomes of football games. Kerry Joseph had a chance at a sack to put Denver at 3rd and 17. Now it's 3rd and 5. He's got a chance to get the ball out to Rod Smith. Hangs in the pocket tough. Really throws the ball well. Comes out. Willie Williams can't make the play. Dances inside. Still can get a first down because they're on the 11.
1st and 10. Olandis Gary lost his footing and gets to the 9. You know, Chris Miller, as he said, played on a lot of bad football teams, but he went to the Pro Bowl in '91, threw for more than 3,000 yards, had 26 touchdown passes. What held him back here in Denver, he had tendinitis in preseason. Couldn't even throw the ball.
Let's go to the press box.
Seahawks lead 10-0, but Denver is driving. Denver, of course, has had all those injuries, but Seattle, its share tonight. Sam Adams has been on the sidelines quite a bit with a sprained knee. Michael Sinclair, his running mate at left defensive end, is out for the game with a groin pull.
See all those scars on his helmet? They paint them after every game, so that's just from this first half.
2nd and 8. Miller throws incomplete, intended for McCaffrey at the 5, and he had a lot of coverage.
Well, you can't throw to a guy that has 4 people on him. I mean, when there's a lot more blue than there is white, you don't throw it there. And McCaffrey, they know that this is his favorite target, Miller's favorite target. McCaffrey's in motion. Now watch him. He's just going to hook up here in the middle. Watch the coverage he gets. There are a lot of people. Had it been thrown in his gut, he would have been able to catch it. It was out too far.
And I really think this is the spot where you miss a Shannon Sharp, because it's a mismatch with a tight end of his ability to try and work against a linebacker. I think your tight ends are your best shots down here.
Chris Miller is going to go to the sideline and talk it over. Back in a moment. .155 to go first half. Seahawks by 10.
You get down in this situation, 3rd down, first thing you, as a quarterback, you're saying to yourself, all right, I don't want to throw the ball into any place where it's a problem. So what you can do is, I think you can work this part of the football field with your tight end in some way, shape, or form. Work a tight end or a back in the middle of the football field.
Tight end is Carswell. Gary goes in motion, and there was movement as well as his motion, and that will cost them 5.
For the snap, false start by the center. Illegal snap. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Tom Nalen.
Yeah, he's trying to get the guy in front of him outside, but a little double clutch. Watch him. Watch him with the ball. Watch this. See the ball move? Once he does that, well, that's it. You've got to move it.
Well, you know what caused it? Chris Miller, by moving his foot back to send the motion, instinctively you wind up goosing the center. And here, centers don't hear you a lot. They just feel the movement of your hands. When he dropped his foot back, he felt that movement.
They don't like that either.
Oh, no. Big, real edgy down.
They have to get inside the 1 for a first down. Intercepted. Picked up by Kerry Joseph. The 20th interception of the season for the Seahawks. That leads the NFL.
Trying to work the middle of the football field. If it's there, you take it. If it's not, you have to throw it away.
You can't telegraph where you're going to throw the ball. And that's what Chris Miller did here. He waited and looked all the way through it and then threw it.
Ball's got to come out in rhythm. Kerry Joseph, right there, will wind up. You'll see him just play the middle of the football field. All they do is settle back in the middle, settle back in the middle. There it is. All he's doing is reading Chris Miller's eyes. Now, this is the problem. You've got the tight end here. Ed McCaffrey just stops. He could help him out by coming back to the ball a little bit.
Kerry Joseph just playing center field and got the pick. The opportunistic Seattle defense. Statistically, they are not very good. They're in the lower 20% of the league, but they make the big plays. They have all year. Coming up, Chris Berman in the Toyota halftime report. He'll have the fastest 3 minutes in television, all of the highlights, the game of the day, the Vikings and the Bears in overtime. And Jarrett clinches the Winston Cup championship. Here's the way they stack up statistically. Kitna with the better of it, 95 yards in the score, while Miller has thrown for 54 and that last costly interception. But Denver has concentrated on the run.
Yeah, but, you know, that kind of a mistake you just can't make. Chris has been around this game long enough. It's a close football game. If you protect it, you kick the field goal. It's a 10-3 ball game going into halftime, and you feel pretty good. Now you give the Seahawks a chance to add to this score.
A minute 46 to go. Fourier, the tight end in the flat, can't get out of bounds. Cut down by Johnson at the 36-yard line.
All right, we're going to let Kerry Joseph off the snide. He missed the blitz, made the interception. One washes the other one.
I think the interception is a little bigger than the mistake.
Well, he may be ahead of the game here. Under pressure, Kitna throws.
I'll tell you what,
It's intended for Mays.
Has no time. Keith Traylor is in his face, and he's been in his face all night long. When the times that Kitna has time to throw the ball, he can find receivers. But when you look at Traylor, look at number 94. He comes right up the middle. They didn't double team him. They single blocked him, but tried with Brian Habib, number 68, and it didn't work.
They single missed him.
Like that.
Galloway is in on 3rd and 4. One of 3 wide receivers. Mays in motion.
You get Joey Galloway one-on-one, you cut it loose.
And dropped right in the hand of Derek Mays. And there's a flag down. Kitna is still down on the turf.
Well, Kitna got nailed by Bowens, number 52.
This would be an illegal shift.
The one thing
By the offense, number 81 and the man in motion were moving at the same time. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
One thing we have to always keep in mind is this is Mike Holmgren's first year with this offense. I think they're operating at a darn good efficiency level for only having played 9 games. I mean, they really have a grasp of what he's been trying to teach them. They've been very judicious in trying to figure out where they want to go with the football, haven't taken a lot of shots, and haven't created the turnover.
They have left a minute 17 on the first half clock. Beautiful high kick this time. And Watson brings it back for 2 after a 41-yard punt. ESPN's Outside the Lines returns this Tuesday at 7 with the Native American Sports Experience. We'll look at the role that sports plays in the history and the lives of Native Americans and the role that Native American culture plays in sports. You'll hear from Phil Jackson, Steve Young, and many, many others Tuesday at 7 on Outside the Lines.
One timeout, you're the Denver Broncos. You got to think to yourself, all right, 25-yard line. If we can pick up something big here, get 15 yards or so, we can get in position, ground it, save our timeout.
Andre Cooper is in as a 5th wide receiver. Empty backfield. Miller has to scramble. Springs got him. He was being chased by Chad Brown, and Springs took his legs out from under.
Boy, I tell you, Philip Daniels, they only had a 3-man rush. He is the right defensive end. You said he doesn't get a lot of credit because of the other guys, Kennedy and Adams. This guy put the heat on and forced Chris Miller out of the pocket.
Clock running. Tipped, and that could have easily been intercepted, but Bellamy couldn't get there.
This secondary of the Seahawks, they're not giving any of the receivers any room whatsoever. Chris Miller is back there, even though 3 are coming. Everybody that's got somebody man-to-man is right in their back pocket. He drops back, he looks to the right, and he sees Darren Smith out there. Doesn't like what he sees. He steps up, doesn't like it over there, because Chris Canty was right in his back pocket.
Now 3rd and 7 with 34 seconds left. Draw play to Gary. And that won't get nearly enough. He's up to the 34. Facing a 3rd and long, they decided to be conservative, as you might expect. And now Seattle will stop the clock with 24 seconds left as the wheels turn for both coaching staffs.
Well, Holmgren doesn't like to leave a timeout on the clock, especially with this team. I wouldn't.
Here are the big plays in the first half. If you joined us late, John Kitna with his 13th touchdown pass of the year. That one to Mays, and then Chris Miller with the interception to Kerry Joseph at the goal line.
You have to keep in mind also the position that Mike Holmgren would like Joey Galloway to play would be Derek Mays's, the Z receiver. And Derek Mays has just put on a show and a half for this football team in the first half of the year. I mean, he's got 34 catches, now 7 touchdowns. Should make it 35 and 7 touchdowns. So, you know, it's a nice dilemma to have. How do you work Joey in with the guys he's got?
It's been a breakout season for him. Rodgers from the 21, rather. Drilled as he got to the 34. There is a marker down on the play. 13-yard return after a 45-yard punt, and Ed Hockley will check it out for us. ESPN's College Game Day, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Then at noon, Drew Brees and number 25, Purdue against Indiana. At 7:30, one of the great rivalries in all of sports. The Crimson Tide of Alabama makes the trip to Jordan-Hare Stadium to take on Auburn. Over on ESPN2, we start at noon. Number 2, Virginia Tech against Temple. Then at 6, number 23, Georgia. And Ole Miss ranked 16th. And at 9, number 15, Mississippi State. Number 24, Arkansas. Congratulations to Virginia Tech. A huge win for the Hokies. Nice to see them in second place. Frank Beamer's done a tremendous job.
No way Tennessee should have been ranked ahead of them last week. They are the best team in the country. And
now Seattle will just kill the clock to be content with that lead. That's the end of the first half. The score, Seattle 10, Denver nothing. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Toyota halftime report. Welcome back to the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, where the Seahawks have posted a 10-0 lead over the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion, Denver Broncos. And they're out in full Hawks regalia, 66,400 here at the Kingdome, and it's rocking the way it used to a decade ago.
I wonder how long that takes. How long does it take you to do that, Paul?
About an hour and a half.
That's what I was thinking.
I was looking there. He almost lost one of his Hawkettes. The guy, the one next to him. Those are guys, I hope.
Now, when you're done, do you look in the mirror and say, hey, this works?
No. Excuse me, you have no mirrors in your home when you do this. You have no mirrors.
I think you do. You go, man, you look great.
You have no mirrors. Boy.
You got a chance to get on TV tonight.
Kerry Joseph and Amon Green deep to receive as we start the second half. Amon Green, blinding speed, doesn't get the use it, fumbled the ball. The Broncos say they have it. The officials have yet to signal. Now they do. Turnover, and Denver. Detron Smith knocked it loose.
Detron Smith, you talk about sacrifice your body for the cause. Watch this. Going down, up over, that ball is out. There's just no question.
There's no way there's no way a guy should be able to split a double team like that. That's just a bad job of blocking on the special team. There's no way anybody should come down and just split a double team like they're not even there.
Went right through two guys and then laid a wicked hit on Amon Green. Denver needs to take advantage of this one. Miller to throw on first down. Has time. Goes to Smith. That's a 20-run wrapped up by Bellamy.
Rod Smith is hurt.
How frustrating must it be for Mike Shanahan? It seems every game, one of his big play guys, one of the important cogs in those 2 Super Bowl championships, has to be helped off the field. Unbelievable. Take a look at the first half numbers while we have the chance. Denver said it wanted to run the ball. They have run for 61 yards. Pretty good, but not great. Seattle passes for over 100. The difference down at the bottom, the turnover, the interception at the goal line. Seattle leads the NFL in interceptions, and they have gone 18 straight games, the longest streak in the NFL, with a turnover, at least one turnover in every ball game.
You know what's amazing to me is you're watching Denver's only down by 10 points, Joe, and with all these backup people playing.
14:37 to go, third quarter. Big break for Denver as they recover a fumble on the kickoff. They have it at the Seattle 21-yard line, 2nd and 6. Amon Green, who coughed it up on the return. Denver trying to take advantage, down 10-0. Miller over the middle, complete. That's the helmet, not the ball, of Dwayne Carswell. It's a catch and a first down.
As they start to bring the tight end into play a little bit, I think they have to try and work the ball a little bit more to them. Seattle is widening out with the motion. Right in, you see him go out. Dwayne Carswell hooks around very quickly. Good pair of hands. That's his 11th catch of the season, and there goes the helmet. First thing you think of is just the ball. Second thing is you want to make sure his head's attached.
Jay Bellamy was going to dive on his helmet. That was the ball.
Rod Smith back in after he limped off the field. Olandis Gary pounds down to the 5-yard line. It will be 2nd and less than 2.
Oh, Joseph, you know how much I love fullbacks, and Howard Griffith is
you got this thing for
an
him.
exception. Watch number 29. Watch the block on Chad Brown. Bam! Right in the hole. Chad Brown can't make the play. Olandis Gary, that is just a great block.
That's number 29. That is such a terrific block. You're right, Paul. Lower. He always seems to get lower than the person he's blocking. Chad tried to get down. He got a little bit lower.
And there are a lot of people that think that Griffith is the best blocking back in the NFL. That's Philip Daniels, who was shaken up on that last play. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solomon, what do you have?
Yeah, Mike, at halftime, I talked to Mike Holmgren. He says he wants his team to do a better job of winning field position. Wasn't pleased with his defense ability to get off the field on third down. In fact, he only went 3 and out 2 times in the first half. Also wants his offense to do a better job at picking up the first downs. Now, I asked him to evaluate Joey Galloway's first half performance, and you know Mike Holmgren, being the master of the understatement, he simply said he's doing all right.
He's wonderful to be around. He's just a great guy. Wonderful sense of humor. Gary trying to pick up the first down, and he is ripped by Anthony Simmons, the middle linebacker. The young man who might have been a starter as a rookie in that spot, but banged up a knee.
Well, you're looking now at 4th down, but the thing that's really frustrating, I think, for Seattle, Joe, is the fact, 3rd down, excuse me, I'm sorry, the fact that Sam Adams is not in anymore. Sinclair isn't playing. Daniels just left. So they got one starter in the defensive line, Cortez Kennedy.
This offensive line right now is not really geared, to my opinion, to be able to run block. I think a little play action, a little movement still can work to the tight end.
Gary hit in the backfield. Again, it is Simmons who shot the gap and drilled it.
As I said, I don't believe they're geared to run block.
You know, the thing about it is, though, when you see Simmons make this play, his job is to go to Gary. I really believe, because he just lines up, he fills the hole.
Well, he's the only one in the backfield. There's one. They're going to take, you see it. He's married up on him. There it goes. Anthony Simmons knows where he is. He has a gap to fill, and he filled it.
Jason Elam is on to try from 25 yards. A little more than an extra point, and Jason Elam is through 17 of 22 this year. So after the fumble, they at least pick up the field goal. It's a 7-point game. Traveling by the St. Paul. Insurance for business, without question, the St. Paul. And by Dell Computer. Be direct. Dell. Amon Green with a chance for redemption. Waiting with Kerry Joseph to return the kick. Green from the 3. Broncos clutching at the ball. He gets it back to the 28. Anthony Lynn down on special teams. For those of you who'd like to simultaneously experience tonight's game on television and online, log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com and click on the Enhanced TV logo. You'll find live up-to-the-second stats, graphics, NFL trivia, and a play-along game. It's ABC's Enhanced TV, and you may even be able to check out Joe and Paul's score online.
Right. Just chipping away at the big
no reason for them to go check the score.
Hasn't changed much. No, does it?
Seattle from its own 28, first and 10, Ricky Waters. Picks up only 2. Traylor, who has had an impressive game at defensive tackle, makes the stop.
Keith Traylor he's had a great game. The first half, he was in Kitten's face all day.
Yeah, we saw the Seahawks go on quick counts before. I'm going to show you why. Tyrone Braxton, the safety this time. Watch this. He's going to come running up here. You'll see him come up. Kitten is at the line of scrimmage. He's talking. See him start up. Now, if he was to snap the ball quickly, he wouldn't be up around the line of scrimmage.
Kitna in trouble, and the Denver defense comes hard. Nate Wayne with his second big play of the ball game, his second sack of the season.
They went a lot of the first half, the Denver defense did, without going after Kitna. Now it looks like they've changed their philosophy.
Well, they sent 2 guys right up the gut, and this is where it comes from. And the guy that really gets to Kitna and makes him move is Darius Johnson, number 25. He makes Kitna step up.
Now it is 3rd and 14 for John Kitna, who has been sacked 18 times this season. Galloway is in as one of 3 wideouts. And it looked like Derek Mays got a step on the snap count.
And it looked like Denver's decided they're going to turn up the heat just a little bit more on Kitna.
Well, they had 2 safeties up there. 25, Darius Johnson.
Ball start, offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty, it's still 3rd down.
What do they say? If you can't stand the heat, get out of the Kingdome?
Yeah, that's right. And number 34, Tyrone Braxton. Both guys were up on the line of scrimmage.
Greg Robinson has changed his philosophy a little bit this second half. And the place he's bringing people is not from the outside. He's bringing them up the middle, which reminds me, go back a couple years ago to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers, of which Mike Holmgren was the coach. The Denver Broncos brought a lot of heat up the middle on Brett Favre in that one.
Kitna rolls away from pressure. Throws, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Torrey James, the former number 2 draft pick out of LSU.
Joe, this is one time that Kitna really didn't have to throw the ball then. When he got to the outside, everybody on Denver's defense, where they were on the ground, all Kitna had to do was stop and set up and throw the football. He didn't have to throw this ball on the run. Watch to the left of the screen. Look at the guys. They're all on the ground. There are no white shirts in front of him. All he has to do now is sit.
You know, there's a couple things bad about that. First of all, you say he could have stopped Paul. It's 3rd down and 19. He's trying to pick up 19 yards. He doesn't need to do it. His defense is playing too well.
And his father, all he can do is shake his head. The second big turnover for Denver here in the third quarter. Look at this blitz. Everybody comes in. McCaffrey with a one-hand grab like somebody threw him a baseball. What a catch. Holy cow. It looked like Seattle brought 15 guys.
When you see it, it's going to look everybody up the middle. There comes Bellamy. He's the one that's running clean. He doesn't miss the shot like Joseph did, but the catch is incredible. The left hand never, ever gets to the ball. Look at this catch.
Oh, it's spectacular. The guy is such a brilliant receiver. Gary on the draw, nowhere to go. Cortez Kennedy wraps him up at the 37-yard line.
Cortez Kennedy, Joe, did this all by himself. You talk about quickness off the ball. Remember, he's one of the few healthy defensive linemen they have. Number 96. Watch Cortez Kennedy. He goes over the guard, boom, makes the play, then makes the tackle. That's fast.
3rd and 7. We are told that Sam Adams, the other tackle, is out for the rest of the game. He came in with a sprained knee. Sinclair was scratched earlier with a groin pull. Another blitz. Miller throws to Rod Smith. He got it inside the 30, a first down.
That would be the mismatch you're looking for. Willie Williams is only 5'9". Rod Smith, 6 feet, 200 pounds. Outside receiver on a quick slant. They're bringing everybody in the middle. You'll see him go up. Does a nice job at the line of scrimmage. Creates a little bit of space. Chris Miller hangs in the pocket. Gets the ball through the linebacker's arms for the completion.
First down, Broncos battling to stay alive. They came in 3 and 6. Miller, it's another blitz. This one caught by Chamberlain, the tight end. He'll pick up a couple of the 35. Seattle is really coming after him.
Well, you know, you may as well check his durability. I've said before, you know, Chris Miller has not been the most durable quarterback through his entire career, even with the 2.5-year, 3-year layoff. Jim Lynn, the linebacker coach, who now is calling the defensive signals, figures if we don't give him time, then we've got a good chance of having him put the ball someplace like he did down around the goal line and pick it off.
Miller missed 3 years because of a series of concussions in a short span of time. 10 out of 17 tonight. John Avery is in. And the Seahawks have used the timeout with 7:32 to go, third quarter. A one-touchdown game. Here are the standings in the AFC West coming into this game. Kansas City, Oakland, San Diego, all updated from earlier today. Seattle on top by a game and a half, 2 in the loss column. Denver at 3 and 6. They have to win to stay alive. They may have to win the rest of their ball games this year to qualify for the playoffs the way the wild card race is shaping up. Miller trying to buy some time. Floats for McCaffrey. McCaffrey goes down, and there's a flag.
They're going to call interference on Willie Williams. There was no way he could stop McCaffrey from going back to the corner.
At the end of it, it looked like their feet got tangled up, and normally they won't call that. Did you see something before?
Way before it, Mike. That flag was thrown 10 yards before they ever got their feet tangled.
The pass was thrown, holding, defense, number 27. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Ed McCaffrey is trying to run a corner route. Willie Williams keeps outside position on him. Watch this. He keeps the outside position. Now he tries to work back. Right there, he grabs him. He's hanging on, hanging on, hanging on. The flag comes out long before he ever hits the ground.
Sean Springs is not on the field for the Seahawks. And we will check for you. He has gone to the locker room. We'll try to find out as quickly as possible what his problem may be. And Canty is in his spot. Canty, number 26.
I still like to try and get the ball to McCaffrey if I'm going to throw it.
Avery cuts it back, and a flag at the end of the play after Avery was already down. This is normally a hold, and the Seahawks defense is applauding.
But this is thrown by Ed Hockley, the referee, so he saw it from behind.
Holding, offense number 70, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's Trey Teague, the backup tackle who got his first career start tonight.
You know, we've been talking about a lot of people, a lot of different people, talking about the Seahawks missing people. How about these Broncos? They're within 7 points of Seattle, and they're missing a ton of people. I mean, they've got most of their starters out.
I think it's a credit to Mike Shanahan and his coaching staff to be able to keep the intensity of this football team up. They've lost more people on this football team that are responsible for Pro Bowls and championships than anybody has.
After the hole, Miller to throw, now scrambles. Oh, McCaffrey is just ripped again. Back to the injuries for a second. They have lost more Pro Bowlers like McCaffrey, who missed last week, than most people have Pro Bowlers. Shannon Sharp, broken collarbone. They hope to have him back in December.
You know, people talk a lot, too, about, well, John Elway's not here. John Elway wasn't going to be here anyway, so I think we all ought to put that behind us, you know, certainly. But I really think the one thing that is missed is John's leadership. With the rotating of the quarterbacks, this offense has yet to really find somebody that can raise them to the level of play they need to. Brian Greasy, again, had it going a little bit, got hurt.
They go to the ground with Avery, and he stumbles forward across the 25.
Well, you said yesterday Mark Schlereth came in and sat down with us, and one of the more outspoken guys that I've ever met. But when you said to him, is there a leader on offense? And he thought for a second, and he said, no, there really isn't. The way you develop the leadership is you've got to make plays when the team really needs it. They haven't had anybody under center long enough to be able to do that. Chris Miller has been effective for them. Brian Greasy was effective, but they haven't been able to step up and make that crucial play.
Huge one here, 3rd and 13. Blitz coming. McCaffrey. Touchdown. Ed McCaffrey is a warrior.
And that's the kind of play I'm talking about. Chris Miller hanging in the pocket, somebody coming right in his face, and he makes the throw.
And Chris Canty, who was in for Sean Springs, was the guy who missed the tackle.
He also missed the coverage.
They're in man-to-man. Canty can't bring him down. You're talking about another little guy, 5'9". Ed McCaffrey is a load when he gets going.
Jason Elam to tie it. Chris Miller is going to save this football. It's his first touchdown pass since December 3rd, 1995 as a Ram. The beleaguered Denver Broncos, down 10-0 here in the Kingdome in Seattle, have fought back to tie up this ball game. Amon Green and Fabian Bowens deep to receive the kick. Green from the 7 to the 28. ESPN Sunday Night Football continues next week with a look at one of the NFL's best. Mark Brunell and the first-place Jacksonville Jaguars host Ricky Williams and the New Orleans Saints. Join Joe, Paul, and me right after prime time at 8:15 Eastern. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive networks for primetime NFL football. The Jaguars may have scared their fans a little bit today with a 6-3 win at home.
You got to know Tom Coughlin isn't pleased with it.
Fumbled snap. Kitna somehow got it back, continues the roll, and throws out of bounds. Crockett was there with Dawkins on the incompletion.
That's the second time tonight that there's been a miscue between Chris Gray and John Kitna. Now, Chris Gray has taken over in the middle for Kevin Glover, who was their starting center. But he's just, for some reason, they're just not getting the exchange. And I always believe that it's the quarterback's responsibility to get the snap. You've got to stay with the center long enough to get the football. Chris Gray also was the short snapper on field goals and extra points, but he's got a busted up pinky in his left finger, the left hand.
2nd and 10. Kitna, short set, throws to Dawkins. First down for Sean Dawkins up near the 40. And John Kitna's mom is just having a tough time watching. Every time her son gets hit, and quarterbacks get hit a lot, Faye just can't take it. You can understand that.
You know, typical dad. He just, you know, when he does something bad, he just sort of tips his head back, but he's just watching everything.
Don't let him know about it
Same
tonight.
eyes.
Let him know about it tonight.
The first down for Seattle's offense since a minute into the second quarter. Kitna under pressure again and got rid of it. Trevor Price, who's tied for third in the National Football League with 7 sacks, nearly had his 8th.
Well, this was a heads-up play by Kitna just to get the ball out of there because this was a sack. And he saw Ricky Waters. He was covered by a linebacker, but he threw it away that no one could get it.
I think he better be a little more careful. I think he's got to be a little bit more cautious. He tried to force one in on 3rd and 19. This one, he could have taken the sack and not handing the ball out to dry.
Those first 2 drives, very impressive. Almost nothing since. Waters trying to get to the outside. Nothing doing. Trevor Price was out there again, got help from Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, who moved into the lineup after John Mobley was hurt, and Glenn Cadrez had to go to the outside. And Wilson, a wicked hitter out of Tennessee, their first-round draft choice this year.
And here's the situation where the Denver Broncos, and they make no bones about it, on 3rd down and long. They love to come.
Well, they didn't in the first half, Paul. I'll grant that. But now Greg Robinson has changed his philosophy, and he's bringing a lot more people. And they're lined up to go again right now.
Kitna had it tipped. The blitz worked again. Pressure right up the gut.
George Coghill, number 48, comes flying through the hole created by the guys up front. You know, it's very critical that the guys who are rushing create a lane. Watch this. You see the good job by the defenders on the line creating a lane for Coghill to come up and get his hands in the air.
Denver really turning it loose against the Seattle offense here in the second half. Eagles to kick to Watson. Very short. And kicks out of bounds. Good field position for the Broncos when we come back. After a punt of only 28 yards, the Denver defense trying to keep their hopes for the season alive. 10-10 Broncos and the Seahawks. 3:41 to go, 3rd quarter. You're watching ESPN Sunday Night Football. Here's Sam Adams, now in civvies. He is gone for the night. Michael Sinclair, his running mate at left defensive end, does not play at all tonight. So half of the defensive line is gone. Denver has fought back to tie it at 10. Miller to throw, airs it out for Smith. And there's the flag. That had to be. Sean Springs, who came back into the lineup after being absent for a while, will pick up a flag 33 yards.
90% of the time, if you throw the ball deep and it winds up short, you're going to wind up with an interference call. The reason why, Rod Smith does a terrific job. He's got Sean Springs beat right there. He's got him beat, and Springs has no chance but to try and catch up to him. In the meantime, tangles up with him and gets the interference call.
They'll take a whole lot of things, but they won't take your hands on a guy near the end of a play.
Mike Shanahan wanting the flag before it was thrown, then he can celebrate after he sees it.
The Denver Broncos in this second half have taken a different philosophy into this game. They were conservative on defense and conservative on offense. They've abandoned both that now. They're aggressive throwing the ball down the field, and their defense is coming after Seattle's offense.
Gary. Check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solly?
Yeah, Mike, Seattle quarterback Sean Springs is back in the game, but he's battling injury. On Denver's last touchdown drive, Sean Springs had to leave the game with a sprained shoulder. They gave him treatment. He is now back in the game, but he is a little less than 100%. I'm seeing him trying to stretch that shoulder out and get it back to normal.
All right, Solomon, thank you. We saw him go to the locker room, and he picked up that 33-yard penalty the play before this. 2nd and 11. Miller with time, throwing for McCaffrey. Got it. He beat Willie Williams-McCaffrey with another big catch, and what a pretty throw by Chris Miller.
Well, that's the thing that Chris Miller can do. Nobody's ever doubted the fact that he can throw the football well. Puts a nice tight spiral on it. McCaffrey does a good job of fighting through the jam. You just can't jam him. He's too big. And Willie Williams can't catch up to him.
Boy, is that a perfect throw?
Boy, you know, and they missed him in the last week's game, too. I mean, he is such a warrior.
Since Miller threw the interception, he has gone 8 for 8 for 92 yards. Gary, nothing there. Tries to bounce it outside, and Simmons just lays a shot on him at the end.
That's Anthony Simmons. This guy is really impressive. In that short area from tackle to tackle, he is taking everything there. Number 51, he doesn't quit. Anthony Simmons, watch him. He's right there on the right of your screen. Look at this. He finds Orlando Scary. Look, he sees him, goes back to the outside, and then lays a lick on him.
Chad Brown stands everything up, and he winds up getting in the mix even with Howard Griffin. In this situation, if you're Denver, you can take advantage of the aggressiveness of the linebackers of Seattle. Mike Shanahan might want to consider running a little play action, get those linebackers inside, jumping up, and try and get the ball to Dwayne Carsdale or Byron Chamberlain, one of the tight ends.
You know, it's the nature of this business that teams and coaches draw criticism from the local press in their cities. But when we were looking through the Denver newspaper clips, it was really incredible to read some of the columns written by a guy named Mark Kisla, because they amounted to what I thought were vicious and personal attacks on Mike Shanahan. You would think that this Broncos coach, instead of winning back-to-back Super Bowls, hadn't won a game in 5 years. This guy deserves all the respect in the world and not cheap shots from people.
You know something else, too? He handles that with such class.
Yes, he does.
I mean, there's a lot of terrific coaches, a lot of fine people, and Mike is one of those guys that coaches in the National Football League.
Got all the respect in the world for him.
You're a writer and you're going to pick on a coach. You better know who you're picking on.
There's some guys you can pick on, but Holmgren and Shanahan aren't two of them. 2nd and goal. Gary inside the 2.
I just don't believe that Denver's going to be able to pound the ball in. I didn't believe in the last series,
right,
and I certainly still don't.
Well, I think you're about to get your play-action pass.
McCaffrey is coming back into the game.
See, I would have liked it on 2nd down. You know, 2nd down is when you sort of got them in a bind. It's 2nd down and 3. They're not quite sure. You know, I would like the call better on the last one.
Well, they got with some linebackers and defensive linemen in this game.
McCaffrey on the right side of the formation. Instead, they go to Griffith. Touchdown.
I like it. Man, to me, and you know, you may as well try and run it the first time and come on back with it at some point.
The first time that Howard Griffith has touched the ball tonight and gets his first touchdown catch of the year, and boy, was he wide open.
When you've got aggressive linebackers, watch Anthony Simmons. You saw him before. See him jump up? He just gets caught in the wash. He's responsible. Dwayne Carswell just releases outside of him, becomes almost a natural pick, and the fullback's wide open in the flat.
When a guy is that wide open, both the quarterback and the receiver are saying, please, please, please. Elam with the point after. And the Broncos have stunned a sellout crowd here in Seattle. This team started the second half down 10-0. They are now up 17-10.
What they've done, Mike, is I really believe they've made a statement to the fact that they are the defending Super Bowl champions and that the character of this football team will rise to the occasion. This is something Mike Holmgren and I were talking about on the field before the game. You know, I said that Green Bay game was a big game because you were going back, but the Packers really are not that good a football team this year. This is a chance to find out how good your ball club is.
Well, you know, Chris Miller told us yesterday, and so did Bill Romanowski. We're asking about all the injuries and all the guys that are out. We go through that list again, but we don't have to. The thing about it, what Chris Miller said, the most amazing thing about this football team is everybody that's behind these people know that they have to step up and play. And this is what they've done. They've all stepped up to play.
Look at Miller's numbers in the second half. Since he threw that pick, he is perfect. 93 yards, his first 2 touchdown passes in 4 years, and he has his team on top. Miller is playing because Brian Greasy is hurt, because Bubby Brister is hurt. And boy, is he coming through for him. Amon Green has the seam. The kicker to beat. Elam slowed him up so that Detron Smith could make the tackle, but it's a return of 51.
You know what I like what Amon Green did at the end of this thing? I mean, he sits and waits for all the blocks in the wedge, and the wedge gives him the block. Once he breaks it to the outside, and I know it's Elam the kicker, but watch Amon Green up the middle. Now he's going to wait and get back to the outside. But watch him attack the kicker. He knows I can't fool around. I've got to get as many yards as I possibly can. Elam does a great job.
You know, it's really not a surprise because Pete Rodriguez, who's the special team coach of the Seattle Seahawks, is considered one of the best in the league. And you got to figure his guys are going to make a play somewhere.
Galloway is into the top of your screen. Kitna under pressure again, and that ball looked like it was either the ball was tipped or Kitna's hand was hit as he let it go.
Is there a reason why they don't throw a little hook pass to Joey Galloway? Because the corner is off like 10 yards, and then he's backing up another 20 yards, and Joey Galloway's just coming off and running down the field.
Hold on, Trigger. Yes, there is a reason. Because it wasn't called. I personally think what would even be a little bit better would be to move Kitna out of that pocket. We saw him sprint out a couple times. The heat looks like it's coming up the middle right now. If you want to get him someplace, get him to the perimeters. Get him outside a little bit.
2nd and 10. Can the Seahawks take advantage of the big return? Kitna complete down to the 25-yard line to Sean Dawkins, but there is a flag on the play, and it looks like it's coming back.
Brian Habib, number 68. Holding.
Well, that's a big one.
And he's holding Trevor Price, number 93, if they let it stand.
Well, they're enthralled, aren't they? They're just waiting for Ed Hockley to announce his decision. Takes back a big play. Would have been a first down at the 25.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Number 68. There's the big spot on our super straighter. Number 93 coming up. Trevor Price, he's just hanging on.
They tackle him. You have to admit, though, that was a nice tackle.
Yeah, but I don't think Mike's going to appreciate Holmgren. He certainly is not appreciative of a tackle there.
Instead of a 1st and 10 at the 25, they're back at their own 48. Here's the screen to Waters. Flag is down as that ball hits somebody in the back. 2 flags are down.
Oh, this one's probably going to be on Christian Fourier, and he was grabbing Neil Smith. Even on a screen, they're getting holding penalties.
I don't think Ricky Waters even turned to look at the ball.
It came a little before he was ready for it.
Well, the defense makes you do that.
Well, you got tripping and illegal touching. Choice of the stand.
It appeared to hit one of the offensive linemen in the back. He can't be the first one to touch it. And the Seahawks are going in the wrong direction.
There were 2 fouls by the offense on the play. There was illegal touching by an offensive lineman, number 66. That penalty is declined. There was also tripping by the offense, number 86. That penalty is accepted. 10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Christian Fourier, the tight end.
You remember what Bill Romanowski told us yesterday in the meeting, Joseph? Kitna cannot beat us.
Well, no quarterback can beat you when it's 2nd down and 30. I mean, to me, 2nd down and 35.
Joey's back.
I don't think any quarterback could do that. I think that what's happened is they've created situations for themselves where they really can't make the first down.
Getting it for Galloway. He got it. What a catch by Joey Galloway in front of Dale Carter.
I take it back. Yes, you can. Now, in the Minnesota game, Denver had a very similar situation. I believe it was 3rd down and 39 or something like that. And they wind up giving up a bunch of yards. Look at this. What a job of keeping his feet in bounds and hanging on to the football.
He's back. 17-10 Broncos. We have a challenge to that last play where Galloway caught the ball on the sideline. The replay we already saw shows Galloway's both feet in bounds clearly.
This also happens to be on the Denver Broncos side of the field. Now, he's got it. Does he keep both feet in when he gains control? That is what they're going to be looking at. They'll be seeing the same replays as you do. I believe that he's got the 2 feet down right here. Okay, but now when he gains control, he's only got the 1. I believe that this might be overturned.
And one thing that's not going to be determined on here is whether it's pass interference or not. And Carter had his arm on his shoulder. Now, they could have called that, but they didn't.
And it happened right along where the Denver Broncos coaches had a chance to see it.
He had it with one arm. It's going to depend on whether they say that is control or not. It certainly looked like he had control.
Well, here, you see both feet are down now, but he does not have control. Now, he's got the 1 foot up. Now, was he forced out of bounds by Dale Carter? That's another question you have to ask.
And the answer is?
He's got the 1. He's not forced out of bounds. I believe that this is going to be ruled an incompletion because he only had 1 foot in bounds.
Well, the call on the field was a catch, so They are going to need some really good visual evidence to overturn it. And Ed Hockley, using all of the 90 seconds that he has allocated to him. That's a good point you made, Joe. He appeared to have the feet down,
but
then he had control, and 1 foot was in the air. I don't know whether they'll rule it that way or not.
I don't think it's going to be a very popular decision. Again, you see it. Both feet down, but he doesn't have control. Foot goes up. The verdict is in.
Where are you, Ed?
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. The player caught the ball with both feet in bounds. Denver is charged with a timeout.
Joey's sitting there saying, see, I told you.
I think it was very close.
I do, too. I agree with you. I don't think he had control of the ball when he had control. The other thing was Dale Carter being there, and I think that's the point that you made. Was he forced out? If they feel he was forced out, then it's a catch.
It also shows you how difficult it is to be an official in this league when you take 90 seconds looking at replays and there's still a disagreement.
No, he took all the time, took in all the factors. Some great camera work by our people, giving you a chance to look at it.
They don't use the boot black anymore, do they?
Well, it's a chance to make up for some of the lost money. I never quite thought of that being an advertising place on your body, but whatever it is, it works.
Boy, can you imagine what you get on my forehead?
We could all retire.
We could get a blimp up there.
I know.
The bottom line is it's a huge play, and they start inside the 20. Quick toss to the outside to Derek Mays, and he makes the catch. This is such a critical game in this division. As we said at the beginning, the Seahawks trying to signal a changing of the guard. They're already in first place. Denver just desperate to stay alive, and they're playing like it.
I love what I'm seeing from Denver, and Bill Rowanowski said, hey, so what? We're missing all these players. We still have to play, and they are playing very well.
I like the fact that the Seahawks have made a play. They've made a big play. They came out on this last play, moved Kitten out of the pocket a little bit. To me, it looks like they are rising to the occasion as well.
2nd and 7 for the Seahawks. Over the middle, batted away by Crockett. Reached around Sean Dawkins. He's looking for the flag, and so is the crowd. What a nice play by Crockett.
I'll tell you, Crockett plays this thing beautifully. He just waits for the ball to be thrown. Take a look at Crockett at the end. He just sticks his hand in. That's just good defense.
No, it's not. He's holding on to him, Paul.
No, he's not.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his hand in there. Look at his left hand. It's away from his body. That's an excellent play. I had last word.
That'll bring up 3rd and 7. That's the way we usually settle it. Getting under pressure again. And he throws it to a lineman, and that should be an illegal touch.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you point. You know, John's trying to point towards a receiver, but you can't hit Brian Habib in the chest with it. Habib catches it, and it's like, get out of here.
Oh, no. Then he remembered the rule.
I don't want it.
Intelligence took over from instinct, and he got rid of it.
Watch this. The pressure comes in. Trevor Price putting the pressure on. Now look to the right of your screen. Kitten tries to throw it, and Habib's got it, and then he tries to get out of here.
Number 66, that penalty declined. It was also intentional grounding by the quarterback, number 7. That penalty is accepted. 10 yards from the previous spot, and a loss of down. Brings up 4th down.
That's why that's such a huge call. It's not only the yards, it's a loss of down. So now they're going to have to try a long field goal. That is a crushing penalty.
Twice tonight I've seen John Kitna make decisions that were poor that he hasn't made before. When he rolled out through the interception on 3rd and very long, and this one here, it seems like the pressure is flustering him. He just isn't set. He's not comfortable. He doesn't even know where he wants to throw the ball away.
Todd Peterson, who connected from 35 yards out earlier in the game, will try one from 43.
Joe, you had an opportunity Friday to talk to both kickers, didn't you?
Yeah, we visited for a
guys.
while. Kickers are always a very unique person. People have conversations. They love the new balls.
Sure they do.
Yeah, they're just thrilled with them.
Those ones with a special K on them. Peterson knocks it straight through.
Told you they liked him.
And the Seahawks have cut the gap to 4. 14:20 to go in the game. 17-13 Broncos. Beautiful Seattle, Washington on a perfect Sunday night. And a great ball game with the Broncos leading at 17-13, 14:20 to go. Chris Watson to return for Denver. To the 30, where Max Strong, the fullback, brought him down.
You know, this entire second half, Cortez Kennedy has been double-teamed, but you want to look at some agility and mobility. Watch Cortez, number 96. Watch him step over to Mark Sawyer, the guard, and make the tackle. Now watch this. Cortez taking on the double team and enabled Simmons to make the tackle. And here's the other thing he does. Now he takes Larrick back to the runner and goes back and makes a tackle in the backfield on the runner. Now that's strength.
And athletic ability.
5 tackles tonight, 2 behind the line of scrimmage. They've only gotten 3 yards on 5 runs added. Miller to Gary. Got away from Simmons. Ducks another tackle and picks up almost 9 yards. Coming up next, Sports Center, Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen standing by to catch you up on the day in sports. NFL Week 10, the Dolphins, an endangered species in Buffalo. Peyton knows his place, our Sunday conversation, and a champion is crowned in NASCAR. Followed at 12:30 a.m. Eastern by NFL Primetime, Chris Berman and Tom Jackson. All the highlights.
What a terrific job Peyton Manning has done in Indianapolis. And what a terrific job Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, has done with all those young stars.
Chris Miller this half is 10 for 10. And Olandis Gary pounds out to the 45 for a first down. Simmons with the tackle. The Denver Broncos with an amazing streak here. They have won 15 straight on the road when they lead at the start of the fourth quarter. It's hard enough to win on the road at all. The brutal schedule that they have faced this year as defending Super Bowl champions, that's the draw you get, and then all the injuries on top of it.
Well, they're just showing you tonight why they were Super Bowl champions a year ago.
Griffith, blocker in front, does a nice job following the block all the way to the Seattle 35. Dwayne Carswell, the tight end, was out in front of him. He got him another 10, 12 yards.
What Dwayne Carswell did here, Joe, is just absolutely, I mean, things above and beyond what you ask a tight end to do. First of all, he's in the pattern. Then he sees Griffith get the ball. And Carswell now becomes a blocker. He's a lineman in front of him. He does that at the line of scrimmage. He also does it downfield. You're absolutely right, Michael. He enabled him to get another 10 yards.
And Carswell is tough enough at the line of scrimmage at 6'3", 260. In the secondary, he's looking to wax people.
Now you can come back and run the football a little bit.
James Willis, the backup linebacker, makes the tackle.
I'll tell you, they should be able to make every tackle at the line of scrimmage because on every single play in this second half, they have double-teamed Cortez Kennedy. And they're double-teaming with the center and the guard, Dalen and Schlereth, or they're going, I mean, when you double-team that guy, somebody's got to be free.
Yeah, but you double-team him, wouldn't you?
I'd start double-teaming when he comes out of the locker room.
Especially with Sam Adams out of the lineup.
2nd and 9. Here comes the blitz. Griffith, great block to pick it up. Chris Miller gets out of bounds. Gary also threw a block in there to give Miller some extra time.
That's what I'm saying. There is no reason why Chris Miller should be able to stand back there in that pocket and throw the ball when you're taking two of your best linemen on one guy.
Well, it is if your other offensive linemen are doing a good job one-on-one, like Dan Neal and Matt Lippis.
All right, here is Cortez right here. You see him, both Neal and Schlereth. They got him on the outside. Now you've got people that are free.
3rd and 12. Gary hit in the backfield, Matt LaBounty. The first time we have called his name tonight, starting in the place of the injured Michael Sinclair, comes up to make a big play.
Everybody has a job to do, Joe, and his job was to stay outside.
And he did it.
The last two plays, they have lost 6 yards, taking them out of field goal range, and Ruin will come on to punt. A field goal would have been huge here. It takes it back to 7.
I believe that was a call made by Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan that says our defense is now controlling this game, and we're going to play field position with you.
Ruin trying to hang it high. Rogers signals fair catch, lets it go, and a tough break for the Broncos as it kicks into the end zone. A punt of 40 yards. Darius Johnson was down there but couldn't get a hand on it. These overhead shots provided by the Southwest Airlines Aerial Cam high above Seattle for ESPN's Sunday Night Football. That otherworldly looking structure is the Space Needle. Seattle takes over at its own 20. Kidner under pressure again. Throws complete to his fullback Reggie Brown, his first catch.
Second half has been a tale of two quarterbacks. John Kitna on 3rd and very long, trying to force the ball up the field in his own end, gets it picked off. Chris Miller, on the other hand, manages to find Ed McCaffrey in a mismatch on Chris Canty. Winds up with 6, and then the little play action, and let me drop it in your bucket to Howard Griffith.
Drop it in your bucket.
I love when a guy's that open.
Seattle has only run the ball twice in this half for a net 2 yards. Kitna to throw again, and a strike to Dawkins. Into Denver territory, he beat Ray Crockett for 27 yards.
Give me time, and I can complete a pass.
Little play action buys Kitna just a little bit more time and allows him to slide in the pocket. Watch the outside receiver is going to come across the formation. Sean Dawkins pushes it up, works inside as Mays clears for him. They wind up with a big pickup.
1st and 10 at the Denver 48. Galloway. He beat Coghill for 28 yards.
And John Kitna also audibled on that play. He sees how far the corner's playing off Joey Galloway. Look at how much room he gave him. Now he just breaks to the post, and he can't get there. What a catch.
Yeah, all right, that's a catch. Now let's watch what happens up front, folks. Watch the time that Kitna has to throw the ball and the lane that you talked about earlier in the game. When he has that much time in that lane, but that is a spectacular catch. Galloway had to go behind him.
Has Joey Galloway made a difference? 4 catches, 88 yards. Waters hit at the line of scrimmage. Al Wilson and Monte Rager.
Well, Romanowski and Mike Shanahan told us yesterday, we're going to take the running game away and force Kitna to beat us. Now, they have taken the running game away from Seattle. I mean, Seattle was throwing the ball in the third, midway through the third quarter, Joe, because they were behind.
Right.
But they still took the running game away even in the first half.
Now, I think if they're going to be effective against this defense, they're going to have to throw the ball, because I think they're going to keep coming after him.
Kitna to Dawkins, touchdown. Dad love it. Kitna with a strike of 20 yards to Dawkins.
Boy, Denver's corners are just giving these wide receivers 8 miles. George Coghill, for some reason, is winding up covering Joey Galloway before, and on this play, Sean Dawkins, and he's a safety.
Paul, you said the Broncos were going to make John Kitna beat them on that drive. 4 out of 4 for 80 yards. John Kitna, the touchdown pass to put the Hawks back ahead. His dad, Martin, loves it. What a ball game. 7:19 to go. Seahawks have regained the lead over the Broncos, 20-17. It is bedlam in here. Chris Watson from the 8. To the 28, Chris Canty.
You know, Mike, we're talking about why is George Coghill so far off. That's Ray Crockett, that's Cadrez, that's Coghill, okay? What happens is on this play, he's supposed to be back in the middle. The linebacker is supposed to be back there. The corner's rolled up, the safety's there, but what he does is he winds up coming down into the flat, and by doing that, you see Ray Crockett saying to him, why aren't you back in the middle? That was a blown coverage by the Denver Broncos. That's why they got the touchdown by Sean Dawkins.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
It is deafening. Miller over the middle to Smith, and Smith out near the 33-yard line. Coming up next, Sports Center, Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen bring you up to date on everything, including the NFL Blitz, the Cowboys against Brett Favre, our Sunday conversation with Peyton Manning, and the Heats against the Knicks. We have fireworks in the Garden.
It was nice of them to quiet down so you could do that, Mike.
Thank you.
Now here they go again.
Boy, this place is loud.
Just the way it was 10, 12 years ago.
Here they come.
What a catch by Smith. He went down off the top of the turf and just yanked the ball up.
This is why he's a Pro Bowl receiver. Instead of trying to go down and get his arms under it, he stays on his feet. Watch him scoop this. He just scoops down. Look at that. And manages to cradle it into his body. Watch this. The old scoop. Up, in. That's a terrific reception.
And what a great job he did selling the deep pattern. He was at full speed, really slammed on the brakes and was able to catch it. And there may be a challenge to this one. Miller has hit 13 straight passes. The officials are conferring. From our standpoint, clearly a catch.
Pass is complete. First down.
We knew that, Ed.
Thank you, Edward.
I had to check with 3 guys.
I wouldn't stop blitzing.
First down at the 40. We are under 6 minutes to go. Here they come. Gary on the draw, breaking tackles, turned a 3-yard loss into a yard gain. In his first 6 games as a pro, Olandis Gary now has the most carries of anyone who has ever played this game. And look at the other rookie, Edgerrin James, only 1 behind him.
Well, I tell you, talking to Olandis Gary yesterday, what a pleasant young man
Isn't he?
Huh?
He is, but you know, Paul, you talked about continuing to blitz them. I think you have to be careful here going after them because if they run a play action, you still got Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey outside.
Miller wide of Gary. Chad Brown was covering him as a flag down.
Holding
and it's
Denver.
a hold.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
So instead of forcing a 3rd and 9, they will make it 2nd and 19.
Well, the one thing, Joe, is, you know, that time they pulled off the blitz. They went up into the line of scrimmage and just did not. Tink is the guy that's holding. And Daniels on the outside, and this is where they call number 70 holding Philip Daniels. He's through the double team, and they called the hold. That's a good call.
4 offensive holding calls on Denver, 3 on George Teague, who's playing for the injured Tony Jones.
Now I go after him on 3rd and long.
There they come.
Smith in the flat. Got away from Canty and dove to the 40. Chris Canty with an ankle tackle. Willie Williams came over to help out and help save the day. I'm checking. It's Trey Teague. I said George.
You know, one of the things that really bothers me, when you know you're going to blitz on defense, and you know that the quarterback is going to get it out in a hurry, why is it there's always, and one of your best receivers, Smith, outside there by himself? I don't understand it.
Because it's usually the guy coming off of him, and the safety has to try and cover up. That's what the difference is.
Thank you, Joseph.
4-man rush on 3rd and 10. Miller got a chance, has the first down, and slides in at the 45. What a play by Chris Miller. And he didn't hesitate. He saw that opening, and he was gone.
Chris Miller looking like he's back home. Also, you see him taking that mouthpiece out. That's something he's added for the concussions. He's probably the only quarterback in the league that wears them. You're right, Paul. Look at that. Right up the middle. He sees it. He glances to the sidelines to see where the first down is, and then he hits the turf.
Longest run from scrimmage by either team tonight. That 14-yarder by Chris Miller. There hasn't been much for Olandis Gary. His running average tonight around 2.5 yards as they have been laying in wait for him. Terrell Davis, who blew out his knee. They expect him back for mini camp, certainly training camp, from that ACL injury. They've had 4 of those to starters.
This is where the chess game between Jim Lind, who we saw before, and Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak is going on. if they come after Chris Miller again, do you get the one-on-one matchup you're looking for?
McCaffrey at the bottom of the screen, Smith at the top. Miller to Carswell, and he couldn't hold it. Excellent coverage by James Logan, who was all over it.
One of the problems, when we did the Oakland game here earlier this year, the problem they felt, that Seattle Seahawks defense felt, was they missed a lot of communication on the defensive side of the ball because of the noise here trying to disrupt the other team's offense. So all week, they've had these loudspeakers about this loud going in their dome while they were practicing so that the defensive guys could work on hand signals so they wouldn't have a problem with their communication.
Denver only has one timeout remaining. This could be a critical series for them. They might have to go for it, and they just used the last timeout. 2:51 to go. The play clock was winding down. Seattle with a chance to get a full two-game lead back. If they win tonight, they go to 7-2. Denver has to win to go to 4-6 and keep its hopes alive of running the table in order to get back in the playoffs. It is 3rd and 10. Denver has no timeouts left. They're probably going to be forced to go for it on 4th if they need it.
I think they have to, Mike. They're basically in two down territory here to try and pick the first down up.
Miller with time, incomplete. Intended for Chamberlain. No hesitation by the Denver sideline. They'll go for it on 4th and 10.
Darrell Williams had a shot at that one.
Now, the last time, Joe, they put McCaffrey in motion to try to free him up.
I think what you do is you try and, I don't think motion solves anything because it's going to take too long. What you do is you work to a slot side. You've got
Rod Smith is in the slot.
And you also have Billy Miller outside and Rod Smith. Bring McCaffrey over. Try and put the ball in the hole in the middle to McCaffrey.
Blitz is coming. Incomplete. Somehow it got through and was almost caught by Chamberlain.
You know who did the job? I'm telling you, Cortez Kennedy. With a double team on him, he was right in Miller's face. Cortez Kennedy has one shot left. And, you know, you talk about sucking it up and going one more time. Watch 96. Here comes Cortez. Schlereth got him, supposedly. He takes Schlereth all the way back to the quarterback and forces that sidearm throw.
You'll also see Chad Brown back there almost making the interception.
And John Kitna knows they just slammed the door on the Denver Broncos. At least, well, they haven't locked it. They've slammed it.
Mike Holmgren's football team has grown up, and that man has sold himself out as much as he could tonight.
Denver cannot stop the clock. The 2-minute warning is the only thing that will. Waters makes sure he doesn't go outside. So he can force that out.
Remember what he told us before this year, Joe, and he said, if this team needs to win with me not being here, then I'm willing to leave. He said, I want to see this team win. This guy is something else.
And you put it exactly right. It was totally unselfish. He's been frustrated for years not being able to make the playoffs. But he said, they can still get something for me to help this team. If you need to trade me, trade me.
And you look at his numbers, 5.5 sacks from a tackle whose job it is to keep people off the linebackers, as well as the 2 interceptions.
He's been a load tonight. We have reached the 2-minute warning. 2017 Seahawks. Oh, right.
Sure,
Look at him. There you go.
What would anchors do without papers, you know? They'd be lost.
See, last week I commented that Rich was doing it and Dan wasn't, so Dan was really working hard on it tonight.
We appreciate it, guys. If Seattle does not get a first down, Denver would get the ball back with maybe 30 seconds to go, but Ricky Waters trying to put an end to that. Let's go to Solomon Wilcott. Solomon.
Yeah, Mike, the noise level here inside the Kingdome tonight has been deafening. Right now I have a decibel meter which measures the noise level here inside the Kingdome. On the third quarter touchdown by Sean Dawkins, well, the levels reach 110 decibels. It's equivalent to a power tool. On the interception in the second quarter by Kerry Joseph, well, the levels reach 115, equivalent to a guitar amplifier. The touchdown by Derek Mays, it reached 120 decibels, Mike.
Tell you what, you can't hear anywhere in this play. 3rd and 3. The clock will continue to run as they do not get the first down. They will let this one run all the way down, Paul, before they punt.
They're very quiet when the offense gets the ball.
Yes, they are.
Very respectful fans.
Yes,
well,
they
this
are.
is really where the 12th man started. Out here they had the wave and everything, and this dome was really the first place that you really appreciated the fact of how loud things could get.
This would be the first time since 1984 that Seattle had been able to start the season 7-2. You don't think Mike Holmgren has made a difference? It has been enormous. He's one of the guys who, you know, when he goes somewhere, it will turn around in a heartbeat. He just knows how to win. And now he is in control of everything as the general manager and the head coach. Monday Night Countdown tomorrow night at 7. Mike Tirico, Sterling Sharp, and Ron Jaworski with all the latest news around the league. Then at 9, it's ABC's Monday Night Football. Curtis Martin and the Jets head to Foxborough to battle Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots. Back in Seattle, there is Paul Allen, who was the co-founder of the Microsoft Corporation. He bought the Seattle Seahawks, the driving force behind bringing Mike Holmgren in here to run this ball club.
How about this? Mike Holmgren said, they're sold out the rest of the year here.
And he's thrilled.
That's amazing.
What a
and this
difference.
will be the last year of the Kingdome. They'll have the new stadium in 2 years after playing 2 seasons at the University of Washington.
Play at Husky Stadium.
And they told Fiegels, let me just tell you what, you just get that ball out of there.
Denver
how
with
far
no...
you have to kick it. Just
absolutely.
kick it.
Let me ask you, do you kick it out of bounds, Paul?
I would kick it to the left out of bounds. If you shank it, it still goes down the middle of the field.
Denver looking to go for the block. Here they come. They didn't get there, and Fiegels did his job. Watson will let it go. The ball goes into the end zone. A 46-yard kick. So Denver in a terrible situation. Only 21 seconds left to go. They have no timeouts.
The important thing for the Seattle Seahawks is both safeties have got to keep the entire game in front of them. They cannot allow any receivers to get past them.
Go down on the goal line. Wait.
Well, not quite that far, because remember, a field goal makes a difference in this game.
I know, but I agree. I was only kidding, but like the 50-yard line is 50-yard line is about good.
You're about right. I think that's where you start with your safeties. Keep everything in front of you so that you can make a play on the ball if you have to.
Boy, they're not doing that. They've got one deep safety, and that's it.
Well, wait a minute. Bellamy's on his way back now.
They need at least 40 yards for a long field goal try. Miller just throws it as far as he can. McCaffrey made the catch. The clock is running. They got to get up to spike the ball.
They'll never get it.
They've got a chance. Holy cow, what a finish.
Wow. Wow.
They just couldn't get there in time after Miller hung it up and McCaffrey made another huge play.
The problem you run into it, even with that much time on the clock, with 25 seconds, is it takes everybody so long to get down the field. Watch. They're on the 20-yard line. Now, the offensive line is blocking. They're blocking. They're back around the 10-yard line. Ed McCaffrey makes this play 40 yards down the field. Well, I don't know too many offensive linemen who run 40 yards in under 11 seconds.
If they could have made it to spike the ball and stop the clock, as you see Chris Miller's disgust with not being able to get there, it would have been a 56, 57-yard field goal try for Jason Elam. And remember, he's the guy who tied Tom Dempsey's record last year, 63 yards. He'd have had a shot, and John Kitna's family just loved it as much as Chris Miller hated it. He came so close to a shot for his second win as the starting quarterback. Our final score, the Seahawks 20, the Broncos 17. Coming up next, Sports Center with Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen. All the latest news, scores, and highlights. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcox, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Seattle.
This has been a presentation